in about 8-10 minutes, that'll be enough time for you to get through all of the minutes and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we don't have minutes to go over, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll be there soon.
I said don't.
He'll be here in a minute anyways. I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, he
I'm close
lives right
by.
up on North Ave.
He lives right next to me.
Where does he live?
He's on Misco Road.
Oh,
Misco
okay.
Hill
Up North
Road.
Ave,
Yeah, yeah, I know what that is, yeah.
behind,
Yeah,
Union's
Throw a
Palace.
rock to his house from my house.
is that right? Are you on Misco?
I'm on Metcalf, which is.
Yep, I know what that is, yeah, because I'm on Northbridge.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're in that backyard.
Yeah, right, I was gonna say, which by the way, I was telling Mike, has been really quiet now. Did you know the bridge is out? You
Yeah,
see that?
I ride my bicycle down there.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I've noticed it because it's a busy road, Northbridge, and it's been like, I was mowing the lawn today and I saw like one car.
Yep.
And it's like, this is great, I could go out on the road and turn around, it's like. Yeah, I have no idea when that's gonna be done either, no idea, that thing could be
I've
down.
read about it.
You see it? Yeah,
That's the stage responsibility.
stage responsibility, and that's how they found it, that's why it got closed down immediately. I guess they were there, Friday I was on vacation, because when we came back, the Google Maps kept taking us around, and my wife goes, no, that's wrong, just keep going. Oh, no, he was right, and it was like ready to go this way and now all the way
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
and there's no easy way.
My friend took a picture of, he's got a dirt bike and he went in.
And is it
because he was
bad?
curious. He said it's not that bad. There's one piece that looks a little funky, but it's not. But the road itself. is
Yeah,
bad.
the road itself is bad, but
All the steel and concrete underneath does not look bad.
that's like a major cut through, I mean, that's, you know,
But now the other two roads are jam packed.
I know.
That's the problem, you know, 40 years ago wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the influx of people coming out to God's country.
Yeah, right.
You know. And again, nobody keeping up, realizing.
No, the taxes have to go to build yet another school and another senior center, another something.
You know,
Roads keep getting forgotten about.
I was thinking too, without that bridge, school buses too, because they come down there to pick up. And I'm right on the line, so the house across the street from me is in Northbridge. Up in the, I met the first year I was in, and she was telling me that she pays taxes to Mendon and Northbridge. Because I said, oh, you're in Mendon? She said, no, I'm in Northbridge. She says, well, my house is in Northbridge, but the front yard. She goes, we have to pay a land tax bill to Mendon.
Oh, and that's more than Northbridge.
Yeah.
And because the lot, when we bought our lot back in 08, the lot next to us was like, it was significantly cheaper, like 10 or 20%. And I remember asking the real estate, I said, it was a little bit bigger. And he goes, you don't want that. I said, why? He goes, that's in 3 towns.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's in 3 towns.
3 towns. He goes, the house will be in Mendon. He goes, but you're gonna be paying taxes to Upton and Northbridge. And it's like, just take the one next to it and
yeah.
pay a little more and that's
It's like
it.
over the years, up Misco, at the end of Misco Road there. There's a house like that, and I
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
big go around the town,
Oh, yeah.
didn't want to allow the house to be built, because.
Yeah.
Again, who maintains the road?
That's right.
Number one.
Yeah. If I walk out my backyard, I walk out the back door, look to the left, there's a house that's in Northbridge. There's a lot in between that's in 3. If I walk straight across Misco Spring's the backyard, and walk up, I walk right into Upton. So on a map, you look, it's like I'm right at the corner. Yeah.
Is it that road that cuts road up and Northbridge Road right at the line?
The new one?
No. It's an older road. It goes into, from Northbridge Road, it goes to Upton,
Well, there's Oak, that's
Oak.
Yeah, Oak goes into.
which is 2 different names.
Yeah, Oak Drive or whatever, but that's in Northbridge. And
That's
then
it.
you cut into Upton, and then I
Yeah.
think you go back into Northbridge, it's like,
Right.
it's all, yeah, and then eventually you come out, I think, in Mendon at one point, then you go back into, it's like, yeah.
But you're not there.
No, so if you went down Northbridge, I'm literally the last house. in my driveway, if I look, I see the sign that says entering Northbridge, so I'm the last house on the right. I was when I built it, we were like it. There was nothing there. The guy behind us that we bought the land from the developer.
Uh,
And then, Gary Smith kept saying, oh yeah, you'll have neighbors eventually. It's like, yeah, right. It's like, ooh, yeah, everything's done now.
Yeah.
And he's still building, going around, and he's gonna be connecting the two roads and
Right.
finishing up, so.
Someone told me. Eventually, that's all gonna come down to my road.
Misco? I was gonna go that far, maybe he might,
I
yeah,
don't know, maybe.
because the original ones he had before he bought the bottling plant.
Yeah.
Were gonna be cut in. So if you're coming down Northbridge before the bottling plant, you look and he had cleared all that out. Then he bought the bottling plant and stopped and redid the whole thing, cause I came here for the planning board, cause I was in a butter, I was like the only butter at the time. Came here and you redid the whole subdivision. So
Okay,
he wanted a couple more lots too with the bottling plant. But the bottling plant still, well, he took we call it the metal building down.
Right.
The other building's a
the
historical.
only one, yeah.
He was gonna give it to the town, and she's sitting there, but I don't know what's gonna happen, so.
My neighbor says he shut down the bottling plant because it was messing up all the wells,
Oh, I can believe
because they
that.
were sucking them dry.
I can believe that.
He lived in the A-frame on Misco, at Bob. He said he somehow, I don't know, legally shut them. I don't know if he did or not.
You talking about the developer?
No, when they were bottling.
Well, I know when they were bottling, they had a well, and it was like, someone
Yeah.
told me it was like over 1,000 feet deep, and that's where they were getting their
And they
water.
were, but they were apparently.
Sucking all the
sucking
water.
everything.
Hey. You can just go and sit, it's fine. All right, Bill, you still with us?
I'm here.
Okay, all right, we will open the FinCom meeting at 7:10 PM on August 5th. I guess first item that was on the agenda was to review meeting minutes. We don't have those, we weren't able to get those distributed, so we're gonna pass over that for next meeting. Next item was about open positions for FinCom. Both Nick and Jack have removed their interest in continuing forward with FinCom, so we officially, Nick and Jack.
Oh, no kids. Wow.
So they have decided to not move forward with FinCom, so we have two open positions, of which Carl has.
That's a surprise.
Which Carl has submitted a letter of interest.
Yep.
So in the essence of giving the select board a recommendation, we're here to have a discussion with Carl to see about his interest and fit within the committee and kind of give an interview here. So those are the only items on the agenda.
Okay.
So yeah. So Carl, welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I've been working with Mike on the Concom for most of the decade, the last couple of which I've been Conservation Commission chair. But that has given me a whole lot of knowledge about a very small part of Mendon politics. And now that I'm fully retired, I'm looking to be more of a volunteer within the community. And in that respect, I want to get broader experience. The Concom is at the end of a permit approval pipeline where the planning board reviews things, and the board of health, the zoning board of appeals sometimes, and then the Concom gets it. And and then we also do work for conservation easements and other land purchases and stuff that done at town meetings. So what I'm looking at is getting a better understanding of how all of the other town departments work together here in this building. And how that ties in with what the needs of the community are. I have another hat as a general bylaw review committee, and you came and spoke with us, and we had a conversation there about with the hiring of a professional staff, who does finance work. The resources and the select board and that staffer and the FinCom are now working out what their new relationship is going to be. And I think I have a good working relationship with a couple of people on the select board. And so I would be able to interface with them and communicate. My career was in information technology for 35, 40 years. And the last 20 of which I focused on risk assessment and root cause analysis and talking to auditors. The financial company I worked for is called DTCC. They were the Bankers Bank, and they are one of the most highly regulated companies in the entire world. One of the jokes was, how many people work at DTCC? Well, about half, because the other half are busy talking to the regulators. We have to talk to the Securities and Exchange Commission. We talk to the Federal Reserve. We spot people on Wall Street. We talk to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. We're talking to all of the different major Wall Street stock trading companies, the Chicago Commodities Trade. I had a very small part of it in that I was one of the team responsible for making our computers talk to all of these other things. Since the money in the DTCC computers, the information and the transactions that were flowing back and forth was real money, just as real as the money in the bank account was. So we had a whole lot of oversight. And when something went wrong, like $1 billion got lost between the Federal Reserve and us, it was a big deal. And I was one of the team who was tasked with, one, finding out what went wrong, and two, making sure it never, ever happened again. In almost any major catastrophe like this, where there's a potential data loss or a security breach, it's always going to be a combination of several low probability events, because if it was a high probability event, people would have figured that out, patched it already. So it's things like somebody forgot to update a computer's operating system, and someone failed to set the administrative permissions, and someone else just happened. So the whole point of the root cause analysis process is I would read the documentation of what should have happened. I would interview people and find out what they actually did, and then try and come up with a understanding of the problem that would not ruffle feathers and not lead to people getting fired or they shouldn't be getting fired. One of the skills that I developed is listening to people talk and then coming up with a very accurate summary. Although I'm kind of disappointed that now Microsoft Teams has an AI that is doing that. I'm saying, wow, that's just what I took in the notes. Oh well, that's another thing AI is doing. Another skill I have is looking at a document and then finding out what questions there are. Mike's seen me do this with the conservation restrictions. The latest one we had for the property, it was 60 pages long. I spent time going through it, working with Medicom and Land Trust and the state department who approves these kinds of things. And, hey, this doesn't say what everyone thinks it says. I have about a 10 to 30% success rate. I'll raise an issue, and 10 to 30% of the time they'll say, yeah, we have to address that. And I consider that a success. I don't have my ego invested in me. I don't. So I don't have direct experience with finances and budget. My wife handles paying the bills and stuff. I have a tax preparer, but I have an ability to look at supporting documentation and then come up with key questions and solutions.
Yeah. Okay. From my perspective, I think there could be value in. We don't get a lot of documentation ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
As we've all aligned on the value of being able to read things ahead of time before we go into meetings. The budget presentations range anywhere from a well thought out and a well thought out and well documented piece of collateral that gets into lots of detail and good graphics and just feels like a great book, to somebody sitting down and going, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Right. I've been asking for the direction of this entire committee to get a little bit more standardized on what does a budget presentation mean, what information should be in there. Not all of us have been doing this for 15, 20 years. How do we get folks who may not know about all the different, you don't know exactly what the chief of the fire department is doing, what's in his budget, how that works, right? And do you have an interest in sort of understanding more of those details so that when you're presented with information that they're sort of giving us, you can on the fly be able to maybe question some of those things and
Yes.
look at.
And here's my experience as Conservation Commission chair comes to the fore. The town, the first year I was chair, I had no idea what the budgeting process was. Kim basically did the whole thing because we had lost our clerk and we had gotten replacement. When Isabella came on board, I got much more involved in, okay, what's the revolving fund? And why does the Concom have one? The Concom has its own special Conservation Commission state law account that we have intended to draw on. So we're looking with Isabella on that. So I've gotten much more aware of how when we look at the annual report that gets presented at town meeting, all of those different numbers represent a different ledger account. So I'm definitely looking at getting a better understanding of that, working with the finance people present, because that's furthering my goal of understanding what the town needs, and I'd be able to speak at town meeting where the select board saying, yeah, we really need to pay more attention to this. And one of the things we talked about at the bylaws review committee is we need a regulation and we need a policy and procedure document saying how the town budget's going to get created, because we don't have one. I was surprised to find out. No, Jeremy and Isabella are just doing it on the fly.
Okay. I mean, do you have interest in sort of, leading any charges in those spaces and devoting time? Because there's kind of the attending meetings, right, and being a part of the official meetings that we hold. And then, some of us are volunteering to go to MRSDA subcommittee meetings or BVT subcommittee meetings. And, I could see a benefit of, if you are retired, if you're more available during working hours to be able to go to the chief and be like, hey, can you be FinCom's eyes and ears on a more detailed prior to the budget presentation, and sort of just go through those details with them and maybe sort of represent us in some way.
Or when the chief is meeting with the new town finance staff or meeting with Jeremy, they pull in the FinCom member who's there taking notes, and then I come to be able to come back and write up the email. You've seen this kind of, it would be the financial committee equivalent of the sidewalk where I say, here's what I saw, here's what I noticed, here's what we need to be done. In that sense, I'm on the bylaws review committee because that's what I did in my past job. I worked on writing regulations for the IT department and then justifying them for the auditors. So one of the reasons that I'm stepping down as chair of the Conservation Commission is because I want to focus more on the Concom has regulations. Right now, the regulations is about 2 pages. We are going to be spending money out of our Concom budget that we get from filing fees to hire a consultant who will look at other towns our size, what I call our peer towns, and say, what do they have in their regulations? Well, they have things like how much in advance you have to provide a report. We are going to move our fee structure in there. So we're going to have a sliding scale so that if someone like me is a homeowner who's building an ADU who needs an NOI hearing because my driveway's within 100 feet, I only pay this much. Blue Water comes in with the warehouse proposal at 23 Cape Road, they're going to get charged a lot more because their plan is much more complex and requires a whole additional level of peer reviews. And the goal is to have that written in the regulations as opposed to, okay, we'll charge you this much, we'll charge you that much. We want to have a consistent policy on tree removal in a wetlands, tree removal in a buffer zone. And so that instead of having to come before us and have a hearing and we say, yes, you can cut down those trees, we have regulations, and the regulation would allow Isabella as our agent to approve things and then come to the next meeting and report. So in terms of the budget process, yeah, it starts about now, and hopefully the department heads start doing things. But if there was a written policy and procedure, then that lays out who does the department head send their initial reports to? At what time do they meet with Jeremy? At what time do they meet with FinCom? At what time does the select board get it? And whatever proposal we come up with has to be done in cooperation with the select board, because they're the ultimate consumers, the FinCom, because we're supposed to be advising, you are fighting on it. And finally, the paid staff. They need to be comfortable working in things because it's going to directly impact their 40-hour-a-week job.
Okay. I think one of the other places that at least FinCom has been more involved in the very few recent years is, the back and forth with all the department heads of, well, I know I keep poking the fire department, it's just easy, right? The fire department wants 6 new firefighters, right? For very good and valid reasons that are very easy to justify on the surface. And, weighing that versus like what the library is going to get versus.
Or the highway department needs a new street sweeper.
Right, exactly, right. Those are all things that we need to advise the select board on, and
I struck a nerve there.
I've never seen a street super, by the way.
I saw it for the first time last spring. I did see it.
It comes on Misco Road twice a year.
It does?
Takes a lot
I've
of
seen it on Colonial.
Yeah, maybe you were telling me that. So
Absolutely, definitely seen it.
felt better when I saw it.
One of the reasons I moved, I lived in Framingham growing up as a kid and lived there. People moving here to Bendon, and that had representative town meeting because it had at the time 60,000 people. Can't have a town meeting with that many. One of the things I like about Bendon being a small town is the town meeting is the last and only example of representative, participatory democracy. Everyone says, no, the United States isn't a democracy. We're supposed to be a representative republic. But a New England town meeting where people can get up and say, I disagree with that, and people listen to back and forth. I like that kind of ability to have an impact on the community.
Okay. Any of my fellow colleagues have any other questions, either in the room or Billy online? Feel free to speak up.
This is Billy. Can you clarify what are the other boards and committees that you're currently sitting on?
I'm currently sitting on the Conservation Commission chair. I'm going to be stepping down. I'm making people deeply unhappy because they like the way I do it. Mike has definitely unvolunteered himself to be chair again. So there will be a new chair stepping forward. I've agreed to continue to be vice chair there, but as I said, that would be focusing on helping them with regulations and whatnot. And I'm also on this new thing we created last year called the General Bylaws Review Committee, which is something that I had been pestering Jason Hooter about for about a year and a half because of a couple of incidents. The bylaw that got passed a couple of months, a couple years ago that said we cannot serve on both the Concom and the Planning Board. That was too narrowly targeted. It looked like it was a vindictive way of getting at 2 people that certain members of the community like. We're eventually going to change that so that we're going to say, okay, the following boards approve things. Planning Board, Board of Health, Concom, CBA. You don't want someone serving on more than one of those because then they get another bite of the apple. either to push a favorite project or to try and deep six a project that they really, really don't like. So it makes sense to broaden that and say that, that's what the restrictions are going to be. The other really amusing example, and I think this is why they finally broke down and decided to do it, is the bylaw that they passed to change the date of town meeting. The problem is that the next section down, setting the date of town election, refers to when the town meeting is, and it completely broke that section. So we had to come in, that's why at the town meeting, we had a new bylaw that says, no, we're fixing the date, it's 3 weeks out, that way, no matter when it gets, the town meeting happens, the town election is a fixed date, it's never going to be Memorial Day. Town clerk can, set their, know what their expectations are going to be. The things that we're working on now is a noise ordinance. Right now, if someone's having a loud party, the police will go out there and they'll say, hey, cool it, we got a noise complaint. And then the noise doesn't, goes down for 15 minutes and then it goes back up and they go back. Hey, there's too much noise. They don't have any way to do anything unless they arrest somebody for disorderly conduct. They really hate doing that, because by that time it's probably after midnight. There's been a lot of drinking involved, and they have to put someone in handcuffs. They don't want to do that. If there's a noise ordinance, it becomes a civil matter because just like anything else in the bylaws, they can write a ticket. Just like if someone parks illegally, you can write a ticket. So now the police can go out there and say, okay, we went to the neighbor's house, we took out our noise meter, you're too loud. So there's the evidence, it's not subjective. Cut it out. And maybe if they feel like it, they'll write a ticket right then and there, or they'll give a warning. Well, if they come back a second time, they're certainly going to write a ticket. And then if there's a third time, they'll probably an even bigger ticket. So the police chief is in favor of this because it gives them an ability to de-escalate. We're also looking into solicitation. People are very nervous about people showing up at their door. So we're likely to be also working on something that says, unless you're the Girl Scouts or the high school collecting for a field trip or something, go to the police station and get fingerprinted and get a lanyard. So the purpose of the bylaws review committee is so that the select board is getting all of these people saying there ought to be a law, and now they're asking us to come up with things about that.
Great.
So that's another meeting that's twice a month and doing lots of research, and it's also something that I'm busy with before town meetings.
Yep.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, does anybody have anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any questions for Carl. I have served alongside him, as he stated, on the Conservation Commission. And what I'd like to say about Carl is that he's proven time and time again that when he makes a decision, he makes it on facts, not emotion. And I believe that's very important, no matter what board you sit on, that you deal in facts and not emotions. That's all.
Awesome.
And again, I would recommend that this board recommends him to fill one of the empty seats.
Great. All right, well, I don't have anything else. If nobody has anything else, then thank you, Carl, and we will deliberate and have our decision on how we would like to recommend to the select board, but
Well, that's it. You have to do it in an open meeting, so
yep,
I can either stay here or I can watch the recording.
either or.
We did this week, we interviewed 4 people.
Yeah.
For Concom. They're sitting there. And we said nice things about them.
I'm giving you the opportunity to either allow yourself to watch it later or.
Thanks, make you uncomfortable.
All right, can I get a motion to recommend to the select board, that Carl Hummel joins the FinCom?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, any other further discussion? We do have Billy online, so we need to do a roll call vote. All those in favor?
Billy Haddad, aye.
Ron Smuto, aye.
Jesse Curl, aye.
Mike Mandelia, aye.
Mike Krager, aye. All right. Well, we will pass on our recommendation to the select board that you be appointed to the finance committee, and it is now in their hands.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Yep.
All right. I don't have anything else on the agenda. Is there anything else that folks wanted to bring up that wasn't anticipated 48 hours in advance?
I just have a real quick question, I guess. So I heard that there's interviews obviously for FinCom members, including ones who are going for reappointment, so to speak. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's correct. Okay.
The original ask was so the way the process is moving forward for all boards and committees that are appointed is when the term is up, all of the seats are considered open.
Okay.
And you need to take the step to say, I would like to
Continue.
be reappointed, so you do that with the select board. The expectation is that the committee interviews you. I made that aware to the folks whose term was ending.
Yep.
And there was a desire to not interview. I validated with Jeremy that it was okay for us to make a recommendation to the select board based off of years of service and experience. But at the end of the day, they decided to remove themselves from consideration. So.
I was just curious, and I knew this, you had mentioned this before about the interview. I think we had talked about it.
Yeah.
Select board. So I'm just, I guess this is more just a question in general, is that what don't we know about members particularly? And I'm just mentioning Jack and Nick because they were on it for so long, next to you, obviously the longest ones. What are we supposed to learn by interviewing? And I'm just curious, like, for example, this was different with Carl, obviously, because I had never met you. I mean, I've met you, but I've never really, and it was nice to hear that. But what was, I guess.
I thought it was weird as well.
Yeah.
But I'm taking direction from what the select board was asking to do.
Okay.
And I was honestly questioning how I was going to go about setting up an interview with people that I've worked with for multiple years, right? But so yeah, I did feel it was weird.
I'm glad I'm not the only one then. I was just wondering, like, so a year from now, and assuming I ask for reappointment, in next June, I think that's when mine's up. So I'll interview, but are you gonna ask me, like, what do you ask me then?
If you would prefer that we just use, we will give you the opportunity to make your case.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? And if you would prefer to use your experience on the board and not interview, that's a perfectly acceptable response. So, Carl?
This is the first year they've had seeing.
Right.
Making people do this.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of gaps and shortcomings. They're going to be, Jeremy is probably going to be coming up with some more guidance for the different missions on what kind. The old policy that they had in 2018 said, well, here are the questions that the applicant should put in their letter and the things that we should be asking about. There's going to be a lot more guidance from Jeremy and HR about acceptable questions to ask and not things that you shouldn't ask. If you've been in any Fortune 500 HR training, you know the sort of things you're not supposed to be asking.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So they're going to be, they'll be coming up and trying to, the way, the phrase I put it, in terms of the regulations is dragging them into the 21st century.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't address the weirdness of re-interviewing somebody that you've been working right alongside with for, almost a decade, but.
Chairman, just recently the Concom went through an interviewing process with 4 people. One of them was a long-standing member.
Yep.
And I agree with you. It is kind of awkward,
Yeah.
a little bit, not embarrassing awkward, but just awkward. You serve with somebody, this particular person's been on the board almost 20 years. And so basically, the only thing I could say is, why do you still want to be a member of this?
You've done this with me so long, you still want to do this? Are you okay in the head?
I was just about to say, the second time, maybe we should.
But in reality, that's about,
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Give the person an opportunity to
Sure.
express why he wants to do it.
That's about where my head was at, and if I needed to ask a question, it was gonna be in about that vein, but, Nick and Jack decided to not go that route. So.
Well, that's too bad. They were,
Yeah.
Yes.
Very.
I enjoyed working with
It
them.
is unfortunate.
Yep. Yeah, they were very valuable, asked great questions, and they will be missed, so we
Yeah.
appreciate their years of service, and we still have 2 openings and only 1 applicant, of which we've recommended, so assuming that moves forward, we will still have 1 opening. I've made it clear to both of them that there's still an opening now. So if you'd like to reconsider,
So,
please let us know.
actually, there's no other applicants as of yet.
Nope. So,
Well, they're gonna get the word out, I'm sure. There are people that are interested. They won't say anything if they don't know.
yeah, there were postings and, Carl obviously found out. But I know I will personally be trying to push more people to see if they're interested, so. Carl?
I think what happens. Jeremy was hornswoggled when I said I wanted to be in because that's never happened before. It's never been the case that unless somebody said they didn't want to serve, that other people step forward. So that's why there's this whole thing about contested with me and 2 other ones.
Yep.
And that's just a reflection of how small-handed this thing is. No. After you're on the committee, stay on there as long as you want. I'll go do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I tried to frame it as, if you're in an elected position, you need to, you have to get reelected. And,
Shake hands and kiss babies.
yeah, so. I don't disagree with the decision, but, I think maybe communicate a little bit better. So.
Billy, did you want to?
I didn't have any other questions.
Okay, all right, unless, are there any other, topics that need to be brought up? All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Nancy Curl.
Brunswick,
Cat,
bye.
aye.
Like a mandolier, aye.
Mike Krieger, aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:41 PM.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
See ya, thanks,
Say
Bill.
bye.
Thanks.
Yep.